that hook in me. Alright guys, number one on camera today. I've been off the water for a couple of weeks. Been sick off and on, not the whole time, but off and on. And just itching to get back out and get a bite. And let me show you what I'm doing. I had to change my game plan just a little bit from when I started, or when I put it all together last night. What I was going to do, I was going to drop shot Texas rig worm, and I get over here on the lake and it's cloudy and it's windy. Spinnerbait. That's my third bass of the morning. First one on camera. I didn't bother to, I was just checking because I had fished the worm around a little bit here and there, and a couple of little bites, might even been brim, not sure, but I got blew up on a bank. And sometimes you can just look at a bank and know, man, I need to throw a square bill, or I need to run a spinnerbait or a buzz bait or something down this. You know, it's got just the right cover. It's got standing brush, and you know, so I just picked it up, threw it a couple times, and bam, caught a little fish. And worked that point, got blew out off that point, made it around to the next one. The setup was almost the same. Shallow water running into deep water, standing brush. As soon as I crossed that spinnerbait across the shallow water where the brush was out into the deep water, boom, got hit. And that's the way all three of my bites have been on spinnerbait. They're where the wind is coming across these points. This water's pretty clear, except for where today the boats have ran back and forth and muddied up the edge a little bit. But overall, as a rule, the lake is very clear. So this wind and clouds really helps to get a spinnerbait bite. And so that's what I'm doing. My goal is just to get a few bites. I've only got a couple hours that I could hang out on the lake today. Usually I'm out here and I'll stay all day and work and put a film together, and I don't have the luxury of that today. I got other obligations. So man, just getting 2 or 3 bites already, I've already I accomplished my goal I wanted. So now it's all just a bonus. But the reason I wanted to, a couple of reasons. I just wanted bites today. I've ran into a couple of different people over the past few weeks that came back in after a day of fishing and told me, said, man, we didn't get but 2 bites today. Another couple of guys, man, we didn't get but 3 bites, and we didn't get those in the boat. And my buddies and I that have been fishing, or up until a couple of weeks ago, man, we were getting a lot of bites. 13, 14-inch fish was nothing to catch. And so it kind of made me feel bad when I see somebody come in off the water that's just not getting bites. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit today. And if any of you guys are, you know, I know a lot of my friends watching, you guys, you can get bites. You're not who this is, my target audience for the day. But what I'm doing today and why I'm doing, I think I've already covered. Windy conditions, cloudy conditions, even in August, I'm gonna pick up a spinnerbait just to see if I can get a bite. And I did. And these fish, they're not monsters, but they're bites. And anytime you can get a few bites and go home and you didn't skunk, you've had a decent day. And I'm gonna pick up my other bait and show you when I just want to get bites. Let me get out of this. I'm about to be in the woods here. Let me turn it around a little bit. Now when I come fishing and I just want to sit out and relax and get bites, I I'm gonna throw a drop shot on a tiny little worm, and I'm gonna get that thing as close as I dare to cover. But now the way I fish my drop shot, some people have a drop shot hook that has a little guard. I fish mine open style, so I can't really throw it up in bushes and in timber and stuff. It's a great bait for working out on ledges, on points. It will get you bites. If you're struggling to get bites, one thing you can do is downsize. Go with a 4-inch worm, even if you Texas rig it. Go to like a 1/0 hook, 1/16 weight if the wind will allow you to fish a weight that small, and just simply downsize. Fish some of these same areas that you would normally fish, a point, around brush. If you're gonna fish something like a Ned rig, or you gotta be careful whenever you fish baits that have exposed hooks, but these little baits you can downsize will get you bites when the conditions are tough, or you're just not on a pattern that's being productive for you. Go smaller. Now, is that going to guarantee you to load the boat every time? No, but it will help you attract a fish. And if you realize, hey man, I've done caught 4 fish off this point on this little worm, then you might think of upsizing. If you know, hey, I am around fished, I've got a lot of bites, that's time where you want to make the effort to go ahead and upsize again. Maybe go, oh man, little fella came off. You might want to go ahead, once you get on an area that's producing you bites, go back up in size on your worm or your jig or whatever you were using, and see if maybe you can pick up a bigger fish. But downsizing is definitely a good way to find out where the fish are. Find out if they're 3 feet of water, find out if they're in 15 feet of water. And then when you get several bites in an area like that, rig up a plastic worm or a bigger jig or something. Go bigger and see if that helps. If not, go back to the smaller bait. And pay attention, pay close attention to where you get bites. If you get bites on a point that the wind's crossing, and then you come to a couple of points that you think are similar, but they're sheltered from the wind and you don't get bites, think about that. Go search your next windy point out. Or vice versa. Sometimes they're not on the wind blown points. Sometimes they're in slack water. That's something the fisherman has to figure out. And man, once you start putting these little pieces of the puzzle together, you start having better days, more enjoyable days, and a whole lot less days that you come back into the ramp and go, man, I got skunked. That's a bad feeling when you, oh man. I'm always talking when I get a bite, and I don't set the hook. And but that's a bad feeling for anybody, no matter how long you've been fishing. When you come back in with a 0 on the board, that sucks, just to be honest. So if I can help you in any way by suggesting to downsize when it's tough, that's the best advice I know how to give. Sometimes downsizing is not always the key to getting bites. Sometimes the retrieve, let's say you're throwing a spinnerbait, big spinnerbait, little spinnerbait, 3/8 spinnerbait versus a beetle spin. Sometimes it's not the size, but the speed of your retrieve. Vary that speed. Slow roll it, let it bump along the bottom just enough to flash that blade and turn that blade, and then sometimes you gotta burn them. The fish will let you know what they want. This morning, every bite's been, for me, has been like a medium retrieve. I'm just putting it in the shallows, running it along the edges of grass, bumping it into logs, and the medium retrieve seems to be working okay. Haven't landed every fish, but I'm getting bites now, and that's, man, when you've not been on the water for a couple of weeks, and you sure that's not the day you want to skunk for sure. And I'm proud that I've felt that pull already this morning. And the wind is taking me right on down the lake. There we go. Got him. Right, Mr. Spinnerbait in the wind. There's the evidence, boys. Not monsters. Man, it was getting wavy out here. But I'm getting bites. For you guys that, if any of you guys that I spoke to about not getting bites, I hope you're watching, paying attention, and especially not so much the bait, but I'm keeping it in their strike zone. This is something that a kayaker or a single boater can do. I'm close to the bank. I've got deep water on my right side. This is a fairly steep bank, drops off, but I've got timber and brush all in here, and I'm paralleling the bank. When you're fishing with a partner, you can't really do that very effective because your partner's really not going to have anywhere much to fish. But this is the most productive way to fish a spinnerbait in these conditions. When these fish are hugging that bank, you don't want to sit way off the bank, throw to the bank. You're coming out of their strike zone really quickly and out into the deep water. And as long as you're making your cast parallel the bank, you're keeping it in their face longer. And that's what you want to do. Man, this wind is it's doing everything it can to keep me out of position, but it's moving me down this bank really quick. I could literally go back, come down this bank again, and hit a lot of water that I missed. But I'm keeping it in the strike zone, parallel the bank, steep bank. I'm coming across shallow spots. That's where I really think my fish are. They're waiting right off the edges of these shallow spots on these little brim to venture just a little bit too far out. And that's what my spinnerbait looks like. It's a little fish, and they're just, when I get it in front of them, they hit it. So much fun. I don't always get a chance to fish with the wind. It's usually against me. And today it's helping me fish a bank I wanted to fish, so that's awesome. But I've got to fish fast. There's another one. Oh, he was small, but he was a bite. You got to weed through these little ones sometimes to get a big one. Sometimes you just get a lot of little ones. wind died on me, I don't think they would hit my spinnerbait anymore. There we go. There's one. There we go. I knew if I hung in there a little while, I might catch me one a little bigger. Sure enough. Come on, open that mouth. A little bit bigger came along and what I've been catching. A little war eagle blade. A little fat Duck River bass. I tell you what, I'm gonna see how much he weighs. I think pushing, I'm gonna say 1.5 pounds. Got me some scales. Some of my friends will be proud to see I got some scales. Get them to come on. There we go, 0 and 110. I was pretty close. I guess 1.5. 110. These are my new D-Lyres. Alright, buddy. Thank you for the fight. Back you go. Scales off. That's pretty fun. I have to admit, pretty fun when you can come out and enjoy a Sunday morning, get bit. Now, part of my plan has kind of fell through. I was gonna do some drop shotting and some Texas worm, and I have managed to hang up 3 drop shots in 3 casts, and I decided I would just throw the spinnerbait a while. I got tired of tying on baits, and one thing with a spinnerbait, as long as you keep check on your frayed line, you don't lose many spinnerbaits. But man, I lost three drop shot hooks and weights, cast after cast. Then I messed around and lost 2 or 3 over the course of the morning. I broke off 2 or 3 Texas rigs and have not got a bite, a single bite on a Texas rig worm, which is really odd for me. Usually that's a go-to, but today, and unfortunately, the wind is starting to lay down. So these last few banks at this, now I know we got storms in the area, we're going to get more wind, but right now it's starting to lay down, and I kind of think that's going to hurt my spinnerbait bite. I'm in the areas that still rippled up just a little bit, but back on the main lake I think I can get a better bite, so I'm not going to hang out back here very long, and I'm going to make a move again, working my way back down the lake toward the ramp, and still getting bit. Makes the whole day better. But I still stick by what I was talking about earlier with downsizing, going to a smaller worm. I just got frustrated on account of getting broke off, but hey, that is the way to get bit. You've got to know that you're around fish, and I'm an old school type fisherman. I believe in search baits, find the fish, and then work on the bigger size if you have to. Because if you're not around fish, you're not going to get bit, period. And this morning, it's been a lot of fun, but I am in a slack right here. I will be shocked if I get a bite. I got a little shade, little pocket of shade to throw at, and then I'm going to move out of here. That's a good spot right there. Oh, a little one ran out and hit it, but I don't know. I'm going to put it back in there one more time. He was little, I saw him. He knocked it sideways though. That's not what I'm after. He was barely as big as my bait. Alright guys, I'm making another move. I'll catch up with you shortly. Get in here, Junior. Alright guys. They are, oh my goodness. He ain't that big. They are still hitting the spinnerbait. Got him. 12, 13, middle of the day. Pretty good deal, man. Pretty good deal. I have succeeded in doing what I set out to do, which was get bites. Didn't care today if it was big fish, little fish, a lot of fish, just some bites. Man, they're busting all around me, and my blade is hung up. I got my line hung in the split ring, so I'm gonna have to work that out and get after me another one. Hang around. Alright guys, I am heading